Welcome TechBrothersIT. In this video, we are going to learn identity as surrogate key in Synapse dedicated SQL pool. So what is surrogate key? A surrogate key is artificial unique identifier for each row in a table, often used in data warehouses. It is not derived from application data. It is ideal for joining dimension and fact tables. And here we will be using identity column as surrogate key. So identity column in Synapse, Synapse supports identity, so it can be integer or big integer only. To generate surrogate keys automatically across distributions. Now let's go ahead and create a table with identity column, and here we are creating table called the dbo.dim customer. Here is our customer sk, and that's an integer, and identity column 1 comma 1, starting with the seed 1 and then increment with the 1, not null, and this is our surrogate key. Now name, customer name, we have envar card, then we have country, and then with the distribution equal to hash algorithm, and we are using customer name here for the distribution, and then we have a cluster store, clustered column store index on this table. Now let's go ahead and take a look on a definition or a few of other important items before we will go into the inserting the data into the table and taking a look. So we know that in Synapse is an MPP system, massively parallel processing, and then your table is distributed across 60 distributions on the compute nodes. When you use identity column 1 comma 1, each distribution allocates identity value independently, not sequentially or centrally. So that means in SQL Server, when we have identity column and then we write to the table, it always start with 1, and then next sequence is going to be 2, 3, 4. But as here we have divided our data to the 60 distribution, it will not be starting with 1, and it is going to be on depending on each of the distribution, and then keep going from there according to the distribution. Now, behavior non-sequential IDs, the values are generated in parallel on different distributions. Gaps in IDs, some distributions may not get rows, while others generate values starting at different offsets, such as 1, 61, 121, and all that. So skewed start, you might see the first ID at 13, 61, or 121, depending on how your data had hashes to the distribution. Still unique, even though they are not sequential, values are still unique per row unless manually overwritten. So we need to remember that. So these are all different things we need to remember, and you will see like it's not like SQL Server where you have ID 1 comma 1 and then where you have identity 1 comma 1 and it's like okay 1 2 3 4 5. As the data is distributed across the distribution, then that's why you are not going to see exactly the sequence. It will be starting from some number in that one distribution and then keep going from there. So let's go back to our table, and here we have a table. I'm going to run this query to create the table. Now if you see that I'm inserting the data into this customer dim customer, and then I'm not inserting the ID, so I'm inserting these 3 rows, and the ID should be automatically generated. Now if I will take a look on this data, you can see that the different IDs are created. So you see that we have ID 13, then we have 39, then we have 43. So there is no sequence between them, but they are unique. Now if I go ahead and insert the data again, then you will see we have inserted same 3 records, but new IDs will be generated for those records, and you can take a look from here. So we have 13, 39, 43. Next it created 73, 99, and 103. So it will be creating all those unique IDs for us. Also there is an option if we want to insert identity values, such as if I want to insert -1 for unknown values. So to do that, we have to say set identity insert on the table on, and then we have to insert the value here, and here I'm providing the value for that customer sk, and then once I'm done with the insert, then I have to set the set identity insert off, and if I do so, then run this script, what's going to happen, we have one more record inserted with the -1. So see right there, and here is our -1 unknown and country NA. So that's how you can insert some value if you would like to insert in the identity column by setting the identity insert on and off. Now find the highest identity value if you want to. So select max as a max value from that table. So it's going to give us the highest number. It is integer, so anyways you could get min or max or whatever you want to perform. All those values can be get in this case. So here's -1 is the min. Now check if the column has identity. So you can use sys.schema, sys.table, sys.columns, and then you can check with the sys.identity columns, and that has information if our column has identity enable or not. So here you can see that we have a DBO schema, we have a table name is distant customer, and these are the column list, and here is the one that has identity enable. Now if we check the seed and increment value, we can go ahead and run it, and then you can see it is we have started the seed, says seed 1 and increment 1. That's our definition says that right there. So okay, so what else we have left? Here are some notes. Identity values are distributed and may not be sequential. We have seen that. Avoid using identity on the distribution column. Okay, so in our case we use the customer name for the distribution. Create table as and select into do not preserve identity. So if you are performing create table as and then or using a select star into another table, then identity is not preserved. Use insert and then select statement. So if you want to do that, to load the data with the surrogate keys. So in this case, if you want to do that, you have insert into, then you say select, and that's the way to do that. And then best practices use identity for dimension tables to simplify surrogate keys generation, and that's pretty much it for this video. So in our SQL server, we have seen that if we delete the data, then identity column start from the next identity value. So let's say in this case, so you said read from, and you have seen that max ID in this case we have seen it was 100 something. So let's say this 103. So now if we delete then in mostly SQL server it start with the next value. So now if I go ahead and insert in this Synapse, what's going to happen? Let's take a look. So we inserted some values and then they started with the next values. So that's correct. It did not start from the very initial value, so that's fine. But if we truncate the table, what happened? Then it start over from the kind of very first identity. So truncate table. So in this case, if I will truncate and if I will go ahead and insert back, I think it will start with 13, 43 or all those values that we have seen at the very first insert. So if you go back here, yeah, so it's producing the same type of pattern, but it's not like 1, because it cannot create 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because the data is distributed across different distributions. So I hope this video is helpful and also you learned something out of this video. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe my channel and I will see you guys in the next video.